You guys can hear now. Hello.
Where's
Hello.
the new sponsor
Hello.
gift, Huey?
I didn't have the new sponsor gift for this? Oh, yeah, I haven't. I'll add that right now while we wait for people to come in.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
That's kind of
yeah.
important, and people should see the crisp,
Hell yeah.
the super crispy new gift that you put time into.
Hell yeah.
All right, they should be able to hear us, right?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Okay, Megaforce just trolling as always. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are getting the live sponsorship integration there.
Ooh, my man Mark, thank you for 3 months in a row with that tier 1. And thank you for the 2 people, maybe 3 people who subbed before we started as well. Coda and who was that first person earlier? Fizzkey. Thank you guys so much for your continuous support. Much Top Clack love.
Much Top Clack.
Yeah, so thank you, Loser Teen, for subscribing with Twitch Prime as well. Great start to our day. MB Surfer, thank you as well. I guess this is like the time of the month where a lot of people.
It must be the time of the month, yeah. Very cool.
Time of the month, aka the Top Clack period.
I like that period, man. It helps us out a lot. So, thank you guys very much for all that support. We appreciate it. We will not have a guest on today. We had one scheduled, but he had to cancel kind of last minute. Sometimes that happens, so we kind of just roll with the punches. We do have some news for you today, as usual. Maybe some discussion going on. Then we'll move into a Q&A at the end of the show, like we always do. So there you have it. Simple, short and sweet day today. Cool things that did happen though.
Yeah, let's roll that intro. Let's roll that intro, and then we'll do our small talk.
Yeah, you do that.
Intro. Okay, so cool things happen while Brian is looking for what he's looking for. That is what he's looking for. Brian, you should show that off because that
I'm going to
is so cool. Like,
it's quite heavy too.
So Brian, what is that we're looking at?
So if you guys aren't aware exactly what this is the Alpha X3 Renova, I think is what Alpha is calling it. This is a prototype that we got from Z Frontier. Pretty awesome stuff. We'll be building it up and doing a review on it. There's switches in here already. There's no PCB in it yet. I got the PCB right here. But he had some placeholder switches. I think these are just Kale Pro Purples or something. I'll probably take those out, maybe leave them in, put something else in. I don't know yet. But it's pretty cool things. This board is fairly heavy.
Ooh.
Has some pretty nice weight design there.
Alpha Time
Traveler. So this is pretty cool. It's got these little things on the side here. They're supposed to be screw in, but this prototype we have to like kind of stick them in. I have the other one right here because it fell off, but probably just like tape that on or something because prototype. That's the prototype life.
Ooh,
that's how it goes. But it is quite nice, quite heavy. And it looks like I got a carbon fiber plate on this.
Yeah, I was about to comment. Like,
interesting.
That's pretty cool. I'm excited to see you build it up and how that really feels under your fingers.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah, most definitely. It's been a while since I've used a carbon fiber plate, but I do like them.
I kind of wanna get one.
Like, this weight design is so cool though. Like, I
so
can't wait
it's actually a weight on accent.
I mean, I guess I can't say for certain.
Okay,
I don't know.
We'll see.
It might just be an accent.
We will see.
It looks like it could very well be aluminum. I'm not sure. I'll have to wait until I take it apart and play around with it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be doing a build stream. That would be pretty cool.
So if you guys are free, tune in for that, whether it be tomorrow or sometime later, depending on Brian's schedule. Just want to say thanks to Cyber Sam for subbing with Twitch Prime, and thanks Christmas Kane for the bits. Thanks for the cheer, my dude. Ooh, that is.
I also got the Datamancer White Fox case in today. I have the rest of a White Fox build that I need to do as well, so maybe I'll even do an extended stream and do that too. Normally I don't really care that much for wood cases just because of the way they feel and the way they sound. This one's kind of cool though. It has like this magnetic latching system that I think is really unique. I was worried it might not be strong enough, but it totally is.
Magnets, how do they work?
Yeah, so pretty awesome stuff, and it's like a carrying case now.
So I think to address your concerns about sound, Sorbathane.
Yeah, that was my first thought, was just putting sorbithate in there. So pretty stoked about that. But I mean, the part of it, of it is just like, it's wood, so it's light. It's an enclosing case. Like
you can use that top as a wrist rest, probably.
Yeah, I have heard tales of that happening.
Ooh. I got mail too. This week I got a type arrays acrylic stand for keyboards. So it actually works pretty well. I really like it. Even though it's all acrylic, it's surprisingly thick and durable. Here it is with my Fiel, so it's gonna be great. You guys see this for a lot of B-roll because it holds my keyboards at a nice angle. Before I used to use a tablet stand. A lot of you guys have known, if you guys see my reviews and stuff, like I do have that angle for all my keyboards and reviews for B-roll. But for that, I actually use like a really ghetto like tablet stand. But this is gonna look way nicer for B-roll. I've been using it a decent amount so far, like for B-roll, shooting around, putting different boards on it, see how it supports it. It's pretty durable. You assemble it yourself. It comes in like all these pieces and they all kind of snap together, so it ships like in a flat thing, so you don't have to worry about this breaking while shipping from Australia to wherever you live.
but Huey, if it's not ghetto, it's not top class.
That's true. That's true.
We can't get too professional. People might get like the wrong expectations.
Speaking of the wrong expectations, lube. I use it in my life. You use it in your life.
Lube?
Lube. Yes. I got some lube today. 4 vials of it. The good stuff. Thin stuff. I got
4 vials of that too.
Ooh. Thanks Tomu from Top Clack. If you guys aren't in the Top Clack Discord, Tomu is a user. Awesome guy. He also ran the little mini group buy on RMK as well. We got some of his 1504. We got a big bulk order. Gave us some savings. Nice too. I'll probably be building with it. As you guys know, Brian and I do like thinner lubes. Like, we do like Trebosis a decent. I like Trebosis a decent amount actually, but I wish it was thinner.
Yeah, I've been hounding Krelbit to do the 203, and he's like, it won't sell.
One of the reasons I ordered like 4 of these instead of like just 1 or 2 like a normal person is I was gonna take one of these and one of my Trebosis and just be like, I know Krelbit will hate me.
He will be so. You have to do it. You have to do it now. He will be so fuming. That's amazing.
He will. He will be upset. And then the last thing I got in the mail this week is I got a nice big old baggie of retooled MX cherry blacks, all retooled. They feel all right. Nothing special. I do want to break them in. And then I do want to lube them. Maybe 1 board with just the 1504. And 1 board with Trebosis. So that'd be pretty cool. And I also got, so a lot of you may not know, Cherry used to very commonly make a part number MX1A 1GCX, which is the MX Super Black Switch, which there are now retooled versions of them. MX Super Blacks. These actuate at 180 grams. Actuate at 180 grams. Like, I got 10 of them to like confirm, like, did they write down the correct part number? Like, are these real? They're real. They're back. These are so heavy. These are amazing. I wouldn't like I wouldn't even use this for a space bar. I wouldn't even build a full board of this. But I'm so happy it exists. I might even put like 6 of them on my M6 to be extremely sure if I want to mute something. Like, I have to be over 180 grams of
you have to use both
sureness.
of your hands. Yeah, it might be cool for like caps lock too, or like escape maybe. I don't know, but yeah, probably a little too heavy for space bars.
No hitting accidental caps.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Krelbit said he'd be stocking them in the future as well. Fun fact.
The Super Blacks.
Yeah, I think he put a big order in. I mean, which is odd because like if you order like more than like $50 or $40. It's free shipping from the Netherlands to US 1 day. So it's not that bad if you're gonna order like normal retooled blacks anyways, but that's a thing. What's also a thing is the news. Now we must do the news. News viewer. Did things work? Are things just chat broken? Where's my chat where's the chat thing? Someone say something in chat. See if it refreshes the thing. Because I see no chat on the overlay right now.
Uh-oh.
Right? I'm gonna say something.
I don't see chat either.
Now there we go. There we go. Refreshes, I think. Usually it doesn't refresh it. But sweet, we are good in the hood. Let us do the news. Starting off in the news is some great keycaps. BSP Keycaps died by hammer on Mashup right now. A bit pricey IMO. Compatibility is obviously bad because they are BSP. But BSP Keycaps are kind of A+, to be perfectly honest. Like, compatibility aside, like, oof.
Well,
yes.
While you add the sponsor gift to the news overlay,
yes, talk about
it. Let's talk about the price here. So $170 at the lowest drop, which has already been unlocked. That seems a bit high.
Oh, it is.
I've never used BSP, so I can't comment on the quality. Obviously, Huey is a really big fan, but that price is kind of extreme for the compatibility that you get, which is rather limited. Like, how good of a value is this compared to a GMK set?
Oh, compared to like GMK or EPBT, it's kind of shit value, to be perfectly honest. But like, if you want the best PBT keycaps, these are, in my opinion, the best PBT you can go for. That's it. If you just want the most highest quality PBT keycaps and you're willing to pay that premium, these are what they are. BSP. And just use it with a keyboard that has your compatibility, which is use it on a win keyless TKL. That's what BSP is made for. If you're using it with anything else, don't. Unless you have like a win keyless 60%. Like not even a win keyless layout, just a straight win keyless with the blocker 60%. That's it. For me, like, I'm going to get a set. I just don't know if I'm going to get the APL or the Tulip.
Yeah, I was actually just looking through that. The pretty interesting options. I like seeing the Arabic option too, honestly. I don't know why, but I really like the Arabic legends.
Yeah, they are
great. Oof. But APL and Tulip both look pretty great, honestly.
Yeah.
Oof. Adds an extra $25. Almost a $200 set with no compatibility.
Oh, makes me feel good. I got my BSP set for 110.
Back in the day.
On Mac Market.
Recently?
No, it wasn't recent. I was the last guy who successfully bought something from the person before he was like a straight up scammer. On Mac Market.
That's nice.
Yeah, I just got the cutoff before he turned into a dick, I guess.
Yeah, I've been there. That happened to me once on Hardware Swap too. Like I bought like a laptop from a guy that just totally went AWOL after like scamming a bunch of people. But like he sent me mine. I don't.
Yeah, it was basically the same with me.
Anyways, back on topic here.
Which one would you, if money wasn't an issue, which one would you get?
Probably the Tulip OG.
Not the Tulip Greek.
I don't know. That's tough, man. I honestly really like all four of the options.
Yeah, they're all pretty great option.
They're all pretty fantastic. I don't know, man. Probably let fate decide, you know. I happen to have a chance cube here.
So, if you're one of those crazy people who like icon mods, they do have icon mods for an additional $30 as an add-on. The default set only comes with the text mods. So one interesting thing that a lot of people forget is BSP doesn't make spacebars. They're using the original OG Cherry PBT molds, which didn't have spacebars because back then they didn't know how to deal with keys that big warping. Even BSP sets today, and this one will probably have the issue with the 2.75 shift being known as the banana shift. I have it on my Mira. It's still usable. It just looks really kind of funky. So it's going to be even worse for a spacebar, for example. So they never made PBT spacebars for BSP. you will be getting a GMK spacebar instead. And that's what I have on my BSP set, for example. They all shipped with GMK spacebars. That's just the norm for BSP.
Oh. Yeah, GMK ABS spacebar. There you go. Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm going to get a set. In the 4 days left, I'm going to get at least one. If I'm really, really irresponsible, I'll be getting both the APL and the OG ANC Tulip.
It's pretty irresponsible, man.
Yeah, and maybe even icon mods. That's like that's like the icing on the irresponsible cake.
Well, if you want the creme de la creme of PBT, there you go. But we've talked about this for too long.
Speaking of things that are creme colored, white is cream colored, and they have white POM compatible Topre Keycaps now on KVD fans. They also have a black color as well if you look at their shop. But so this is interesting. POM Topre. It's a junction that's never been met before unless you've had Nova Touch sliders and you use the PBT keycaps. I have done that before, actually, and I think it feels pretty good, but I also do like POM. POM is very hit or miss things for a lot of people since, yeah, it's slippery. Why am I dropping frames? I don't know, guys. I've only dropped 1.4% of the frames. That's still an A+ in my book.
It's not bad. Yeah.
I've dropped exactly 840 frames.
All right. Maybe Twitch is just giving us issues.
Yeah. But $50, 27 left in stock. Made in China.
Yeah, so it looks like this only fits a real force, though. You can't use this on an HHKB per se.
I don't see why not. You have the 1.5U mods in the bottom, the 1U in the bottom. Instead of, it's all blanks, so it's not like you need legends.
Where's your 1.75 shift?
Oh, you're right. There's no 1.7. RIP. Never mind.
Yeah.
Rip-a-roni.
You can get pretty close, but that's definitely
it's
something.
It's got an accent key.
Yeah, yeah. Or like just, buy them and just use the alphas maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
The price is relatively low, $49. Not too terrible here.
So I'm thinking if they're using the same factory manufacturer, dropping more frames right there, who made the cherry versions, the Way Palms I call them, that they sell, pretty good actually. They're not the thickest, but like for palm, it's just mostly about that slipperiness people really enjoy. So I really enjoy about the palm, because in a way they make your fingers like really like glide and slide. And why am I dropping frames today? Holy shit! I'm up to like 1.6% now. But I'm gonna blame Twitch today, guys. Let's blame Twitch today.
Yeah, because nothing else has changed, I don't think.
But fortunately, I put it on my Nightfox, which looks great. There it goes. Just drop more frames. Yeah, man. Like, thank God Nightfox, the True Fox layout is like all standard sizing, so I can like use any keycap set. But, oof. It's the sponsor gift people are saying.
What? No way. We've run it before on stream with no issues.
No, guys, I'm not downloading hentai right now. That is not the reason. But yeah, I don't know if I'd like the stock Topre keycaps are already like so good.
They're really good.
I don't think I would swap them for these, to be honest. If there was an HHKB version of this, I would consider it actually. To replace the stock HHKB ones, which are also great.
They're also.
But good. I would be more willing to use this on an HHKB than say a full out Real Force. That's just how I feel about these.
Yeah. Anyways, cheap POM Topre Keycaps. There you go.
White and black, as well as lasered legends. Just like the cherry ones they have. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So something we talked about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, sometime in the past.
A couple weeks.
The Helix, a 5x6 split ortho, the official group buy. I showed the Japanese site. The official, I guess, worldwide group buy is now going to be running on Geekhack fulfillment to vendors first, then normal people. But here's the specs, okay? QMK split in either 5x6 or 4x6 with either 2 or 1 extra keys beneath an OLED screen, and there's an OLED screen on each side. The PCB is just it breaks away, so that's how you get the split. Like they make one PCB, but there's like a seam, and you go, which is cool.
Pretty normal.
Very normal. Yeah. Halves connect TRRS. Pro micro each side, so each side must be flashed separately, which also means each side could be used individually. So you could just get one to have like a macro pad. P Sports Cherry, MX, Alps, and Chail Chalk stems, which is that's Switch compatibility, right? Give the extra credit for the Kale chocolate ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you got either underglow or per key RGB, and look kind of nice with the per key for the low profile and that good pick.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Group started yesterday, ends the 27th of this month. So.
And they said they're confident. It's gonna make MOQ, so they're not even gonna put it down. They're like, MOQ of 100 PCBs, but they said they're well past it, so that's not an issue.
Yeah, people love these split ortho boards, man. These like always go well. Like look how well the Let's Split has been doing the last couple of years that it's been out. Like people are crazy for this stuff.
Yeah.
And this is another pretty cool installment.
Man, maybe we should do one of us should do like a Top Clack episode or something like about split ortho, and like why is the hype there? Is this something we don't understand because we don't have one? Like if I think my plank is pretty good, but like I'm not crazy for my plank. But what if I split my plank? Does it automatically become magical like everyone says it does via the Let's Split? I don't know. And I don't want to take a saw to my plank because Jack gave it to me as a gift, and I think that'd be kind of rude.
just a little bit, you know. Just ruining the PCB, no big deal. Anyways, if you're into the split ortho life, here's some more good option for you.
Yeah. Speaking of good option, do you want to hear the worst option of anything ever? The KBD 75 revision to aluminum plate. Okay, this is one we talked about a few months ago. It's the KBD plate with the numpad. Okay, like this is not only the layout is just bad. This is straight up a bad layout in so many ways for so many reasons. But you know what the icing on this shit cake is? The real icing? You scroll down to the picture after the layout. Because they said they didn't make a new case for this plate, you have to cut one of your standoffs on the case to fit this plate.
What?
Like one of the tray mount standoffs, you have to cut and sand it off the bottom of the case.
Are you serious?
You have to do that in order to fit this plate onto the case for the original KBD 75 because they said they're not going to be making a new case.
You can't ask people to do that. That's really strange. Like, do they expect everyone to be able to just cut aluminum and, you know, like sand down aluminum and stuff?
Well, obviously you have a Dremel, right? What kind of person doesn't have a Dremel?
I don't have a Dremel. I know someone with a Dremel. I do not have a Dremel though. But that's such a weird solution. Like, here, ruin our case so that you can fit our new plate. Which that layout is really pushing it. You know, maybe this totally works for some people. I don't know, but that like 50% plus numpad is just you're very odd to me.
The bottom of your numerics row, you're not losing just one alpha key like you would when you add arrow keys. You're losing two. If you look at it, it goes ZXCVBNM ?
Yeah.
Nani? What? What? You're losing two in your middle row because it goes JKL enter, and you're also losing two in the row above that because it goes UIOP.
Backspace. Yep. That's something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's relatively questionable.
Yeah.
What do you guys in chat think about this? You think DIY cutting your own standoff out of your case is the right solution here?
Just want to say thanks, Noricon, for the sub with Twitch Prime.
Get that Twitch Prime.
My goodness.
Let's see. Please wait. That's pretty dumb. F that plate. Nani. I like the symmetry. So what? 100 out of 10. Terrible. Yeah. Does that plate fit the KBD 75 case? Yeah, I think that's the idea. Is it fits the pre-existing case because they're not making a new one for it.
It sits beneath the PCB. No, they have their own PCB for this because, as you might know, the default PCB does not fit this layout, and the new PCB won't fit because of that nub you need to cut.
I like the experimentation. I don't think I'll be buying into it because that's stupid. I think you should DIY all case while you're at it. 1 out of 10. Yeah. So people don't really seem to love this particular implementation.
No.
And I can't blame them. Like you should never have to effectively ruin a case to fit a plate. Especially when like it requires equipment that you probably don't even have. So pretty strange idea. But I guess if you just absolutely have to have that layout, then maybe more power to you.
Mm-hmm. And some people in the community, as you know, just have to have rose gold. And what better to achieve more rose gold in your life than with a rose gold inspired desk pad?
Yep.
On novel keys. What is this, Brian?
So, I mean, like you might have realized already in the past, Novel Keys has been pushing key set themed desk pads lately. Pretty awesome idea, if I do say so myself. And here's just another implementation. So, obviously, Novel Keys was the primary runner for GMK Olivia, a rose gold themed key set. And a lot of people in the community like rose gold. So he thought, hey, let's do a desk pad for it too, and it's pretty nice.
If you haven't seen the pics of his desk pad in the past, sorry to interrupt. You guys have to check them out. They've turned out really well in the past, except for the B stock ones, which he clearly states are like these are B stock. Like you shouldn't order these. Like any of his like normal group buy ones or the one he stocks, A+. They're great quality.
I have one of the Godspeed ones. It's really good. Like it's for $14. It's like I don't understand like how they're that good, but. Pretty awesome. There are 2 colors of this one too. You got a pink and a gray. You know, either way you're supporting that GMK Olivia buy. Pretty awesome stuff. And yeah, you get that. I like the design on this, like all the less than 2s.
Pretty nice. So one thing I do have to add to help Mike's sanity, help spread the word. One very, very, very important thing. If you're getting this, do not add anything else to your order. Check out your cart with only the desk pad group buy item. Otherwise, he'll cancel your order. That's it. Just make his life easy, guys. Much Top Clack love. Promo code Top Clack, by the way, if you want to get one of these. Twitch, stop doing this to me and dropping my frames. I'm like at a 2.3% drop rate now. Like, as an Asian person, I'm kind of edging away from A+, and that's worrying me. I'm edging out of that A+ range, and that's
you're going into that A or A- range, and that's, your parents are most disappointed already. So, yep, promo code Top Clack, 2 words, not 1. Exactly. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, check out this. If not, check out his other desk mats as well. But it's the same thing. If you're buying desk mats or group buy, only add the desk mat. He'll cancel the retro order otherwise. It's cool. It's cool.
It's
cool as a cucumber. But you know what's okay, I'm not gonna do this. The transition. Okay. But next topic is an interest check for the C-Cubed Tangerine Switch and a next generation RGB PCB. So these are a new Switch inspired by an old-fashioned style, aka Hirose. They are going to be using the Gatoron factory instead of, instead of anything else, which is the same as Zeal. 67-gram gold-springed linears, orange stem. Interesting. I don't know how they're going to turn out.
Yeah, it's interesting because Telios are also a 67-gram gold spring linear made by the Gatoron factory. So I'd be curious to know how comparable these actually are to each other. They are using what looks to be like the normal Gatoron black bottoms,
milky tops,
which leads me to believe it probably won't be exactly like a Telio. It'll probably be more like a normal Gatoron linear in terms of feel, just using that 67-gram gold spring. Could be the one that is also used in Telios. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. Hopefully we can get some samples of these. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So they have 5,000 made already. Group wide in the future. The next thing they wanted to bring up is a RGB 80% PCB. They said they started from scratch. Full in-switch SMD RGB pre-soldered into the PCB, as well as 20 LEDs for underglow, 64 levels of brightness, 15 light efficacy, whatever that means. Mini USB port, USB-C will be used in the future. Fully programmable, 16 layers, 200 plus media keys, NK rollover, Chinese and English firmware. It's going to be $75 with shipping and PayPal fee. We know when they said the next generation PCB, for some reason my first thought was like Star Trek, the next generation. So it's for some reason expecting like a silk screen of like Jean-Luc Picard's head or something. A bit disappointed, but
nice. All right, so let's talk about this PCB for a second.
What does it fit?
What is exactly what is the intended use for this PCB? Because for those of you that maybe aren't into custom TKLs as much, custom TKLs often have like PCBs made specifically for them because they'll have like center mount USB or
it's two things. Either they'll have their own or they all use the A87. It's one of the two. So unless this also fits with the A87, like with the same port location, then like it's kind of hard where this would fit in the market unless they convinced all customs, at least all Chinese customs even, to move forward with this for TKL designs in the future.
Yeah, I do think he should list what this is initially compatible with at least, because I don't know, man. I need to know like what this could be put in.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, why buy it? Like,
so
if you have no idea.
We might be covering this again pretty shortly because they said they plan on running a group by late April or early to mid-May. So maybe we'll be covering the Tangerine switches. We'll probably both, even if we don't get review samples, pick them up to try them, review them. Just, you know.
Yeah, they're pretty. I like
they
that
are.
color.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty. I love how they look. I don't know how they're gonna feel with or without lube. We shall see. We shall see indeed. Speaking of things we shall see and we shan't see, there is definitely a big sighting today. It's a very rare sighting of something that people thought was extinct. A wild Ivan appeared today. An Ivan spotting. Apparently, Ivan is back on eBay selling stolen key sets, meaning the black on black as well as the other die subsets that he ran a group buy for and then never delivered. But he did receive all the keycaps for it. So people have said that this information of all this eBay seller lines up with everything Ivan's used in the past, as well as was the old account Evan used to sell on eBay as well. And it's just active again. So people are like, well, who else but Ivan?
Yeah. Yeah, people are saying it's the same item location, the same email address, and the same account. So people are pretty positive it's Ivan.
Yeah.
So
if you don't know about the Ivan thing, look at the top comment, which is an article by yours truly about Ivan and why he has such a negative reputation in the community, in the comunidad. Yeah, not good stuff.
Yeah.
Not good stuff.
And what sucks even more is people are buying them.
Yeah, people are buying them, which does suck. I mean, yeah, they're cheap, but you're actually buying stolen goods because people paid to finance
those were
all
first,
of those.
Yeah, those were for someone else.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer there, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So if someone's like, "Hey, this is really cheap," you gotta tell them like, "This guy's actually a scammer." Like, if you were actually affected by the group buy and got scammed, you can report this because he is legitimately stealing one of your stolen goods. That's actually the truth. If you were a part of that buy, technically, if you weren't, you technically shouldn't because he hasn't stolen your goods. But just a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. I know a lot of people will still probably not care because they don't know. Maybe they've been in the community for a very short time, or they just don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. That's why we wanted to bring it up today, make it to light, like, hey, be aware of this. This is a legitimately bad thing. And sometimes when things are too good to be true, there's a reason that this is only $35 free shipping. It's because they're stolen. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Speaking of something that isn't as much of a bummer, I hope at least, is my videography skills. I'd like to think they've improved, but I've recently done a video on my Nightfox build, which you should check it out if you haven't. I'll just go through it. Basically, I show you guys my build of my Nightfox. What I think as initial impressions, I will possibly be working on a review or dual review with Brian when he gets his Nightfox up, because there are similarities between his White Fox to my Nightfox, only difference being case and switches used, and I guess andization color. But good stuff. Check it out if you haven't. I did purposely make it pretty short. It's you know, just cut under 5 minutes. So I hope you enjoy that when you can. And speaking of other things you should watch, you should definitely check out the, there's a stream link now, but Input Club's Haata, also called the King of Keyboards by, who was it, Gizmodo, who did that piece on him for Show Me Your Nerd?
Yeah, I think it was Gizmodo.
It was Gizmodo, yeah. He was actually on KTLA this morning, 8:35 a.m. Pacific. He actually, like, he talked on air for 5 minutes on, like, public television about keyboards. Like, what? I mean,
pretty awesome. Actually, have you seen the video yet of it? Or
I have not. I was at work when it happened. I just got home for this, so I'm gonna watch it right after this.
I need the link because I don't actually have the link.
If you look down in the comments, there's a link for it, but Coda actually links it. As for the VOD, as well as you can ask on the Top Clack Discord, and a ton of people have. People were sharing it today as well, midday.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, I wish I could like save this because I'm at work. So yeah, check it out, everyone, if you haven't had a chance.
I can't wait to watch this. It's awesome. One thing I was a little bummed about. So I was going through the comments on this particular Reddit post that I linked, and something I noticed was a lot of people were commenting, like, not on the content itself, but like the fact that he's wearing like a shirt that might be too big for him. And like there are just huge chains of comments based solely on like Haata's appearance and how he's like, you know, being the nerd stereotype or whatever. I'm like, why is this what people are focusing on? And like all the comments are getting upvoted like super hard too, like, oh, this guy's shirt is too big and he looks like this and that, and like that's bad, and like people are just like upvoting that. I'm like, what? This guy is, first of all, Haata is amazing. Like, he's just actually like a really awesome and interesting human being.
Yeah.
Second, he's representing our community on like a public TV news station.
That's big for us. It's amazing.
Like, it's huge. Like, who cares that he's wearing a short sleeve shirt that might be a size too big? Who cares? Who cares? Listen to the man. Listen to the content. No. I've always been of the mind that like people care way too much about the way people look and stereotypes, etc., etc. It's stupid. Like, you don't talk to Haata because of what he's wearing. You talk to him because he's super knowledgeable and super interesting and super awesome. and he's a really super important member of our community.
Yeah.
So I was really, really disappointed in a lot of the people in the community when I was reading through this Reddit thread. And people were like, "Oh, well, it's not professional." I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care what Haata is wearing. He could be in a bathrobe, but I'm still gonna, have a glass of.
I would have preferred him in a bathrobe with a smoking, not a bathrobe, a smoking jacket and a pipe. That would have been.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I still care, man. Like, it's stupid that people care that much about it instead of the actual content that he was putting out.
Yes.
So, kind of a bummer there. If you guys were one of those people, then I'm a little disappointed in you.
Well, if you were bummed, a good way is to find some good support in your life. And speaking of a good support you can have good support for your wrists by getting a awesome custom engraved wrist rests. From Teslatron, who also has an update for the Lumina group buy.
Yeah. So I saw this and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. So wrist rests, something a lot of people in the community do, but it's been a while since I've seen someone do engraved wrist rests. And I was looking through the album he has linked towards the bottom of the post, and they look pretty cool. He's got lots of different options for wood, and the engraving looks awesome. Like, look at these logos.
He can do resin filled engravings as well, which I was honestly thinking, like, what if we took the Top Clack logo, right? We got our blue and our oranges, or blue and our golds, and we use those resin colors as a Top Clack logo in a wrist rest. We should get some.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting one through him. Not entirely sure what I want yet, but I was also thinking the Top Clack logo. I didn't realize he could also do resin.
That's what I was thinking, like,
cool.
That Top Clack logo with the resin for the blue and gold filled in.
We'll have to talk to him about that.
Yeah,
this could be pretty cool.
Yeah, we should work some. That'd be really cool for B-roll too. I mean, I just think of, like, what can I use for videos?
Oh, yeah.
That would be like self-promotional and cool in a video. So as an update for the Lumina, it's very soon, guys. Keep your eye out. The Lumina, we covered it a few weeks ago. It's a Korean 60% case. It's gonna be pretty cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, Top Clack is getting a review sample or prototype, something of that nature, of the Lumina, which is pretty awesome because I have no experience with Korean at all. So this will be, like, very much a first for me, and I'm really excited about it.
Yes. So something that a lot of people are also very excited about in the community are box royals, but there hasn't been too much chatter about it, mostly because I'm still working on my review. I promise, guys, I'll have it out eventually. But someone else has put a review out recently. The good old Krelbit. Everyone knows him from switchmod.net, being a big purveyor of lube and lubed goods. He did his take on the few switches he has. So I like Krelbit's reviews because he's very focused. He only focuses really on the sound of a switch and how lubable it is. So if those are things that really matter to you, he's a great reviewer to read for information. And for me, like, even though I don't care as much about those kinds of things as he does, I love getting that viewpoint. So when you get a chance, read through this, because even if you don't agree with a lot of his points, or at least his reasoning behind them, you should at least understand he's very consistent in that information and how he feels about that, to give you a better idea of maybe it's something that might be marketed towards you or away from you in certain aspects of it. So keep that in mind. It's still a good read, even if you disagree with it. Yeah,
it's a good read. His formatting is pretty good, and he is very consistent, even if you don't agree with his switch theory, I guess. Because, I mean, a lot of people care a lot more about the way a switch feels than the way it sounds or how well it takes to lead, for instance. But it's just a different approach on it. The main problem I have here is the same problem I have anytime someone does this kind of review, is he hasn't tried it on a full board yet. Because only Huey has a full board.
Oh, and Mike.
Of the switches.
And
Mike. Okay, and Mike himself,
but,
of course.
But I feel
he's not going to review his own product like that. Like,
no, he could, but...
he could, but, like, it'd be kind of strange. But yeah, so, like, there's only so much that having, like, one or two switches in your fingers can tell you about how it feels. And, you know, I could ramble on about how it feels, too, but at the end of the day, I haven't typed on a full board of it. So my opinion is not nearly as good as Huey's, for instance, because he's the only person other than Mike that has a full board of it. So hopefully our review will be pretty awesome when Huey gets around to finishing that up.
Script is in its finishing stages. Half the B-roll's already taken. Of course, that means post hasn't started at all, but we'll see. It'll get going. It'll get going. Speaking of things that are getting going, keycap production is at, I guess, an all-time high around the world today. I mean, there's so many sets being ran, interchecks, group buys, production runs for X, Y, and Z, and Mr. Ryan Norbauer himself got to check out Signature Plastics, who makes a ton of keycaps that the community enjoys.
Yeah, so I actually just watched this video for the first time right before the show, and I didn't really know what to expect. If you're expecting a bunch of information and voiceovers and stuff, this is not the video for you. But if you really want like super awesome videography skills at Signature Plastics and get like kind of see like what goes on there, this is a really good watch. I highly recommend it.
If you want to be hyped, just about being hyped, oh my goodness, like, oh, the things he does with the camera. Oh.
Yeah, it's quite awesome. I will probably watch this video again, even though like it has like no real rewatchability. Yeah,
even though there's not much like audio information, there's some things you can definitely pick up, like how they do the dye subbing with the sheets, how a good idea of their scale and how they do their work, and kind of why it does take them the time it does. You know, it's not just straight up printing or double shooting a keycap and throwing it in a tray. There's a little bit more to that. You even see, you know, a guy with a small razor like shaving off all the little nubs when you break it off the mold, so you don't get those big sharp edges on them. Cool. So yeah, check out this video if you haven't had a chance to check them out. And speaking of things you should check out, the great sponsors of Top Clack.
Absolutely. Great transition.
Sponsors such as Input Club, who just now I believe have their Nightfox kits available. If you want an awesome baller Nightfox, they have their Hako Violets, Trues, and Clears, although I think stock for some of them are running low. Datamancer Wood cases, they are running Troubled Minds.
Yeah,
am I forgetting something?
Kira,
of
Kira
course.
Kickstarter.
The Kickstarter. It's like, it's as if I don't even need to push it out because it's like 1,000,000%, and by a million I mean like 600 to 700% over its goal, which is amazing. I remember when Andrew was on the other episode, he said it was funded in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
To our community,
nuts.
That's
nuts.
Crazy. 8 minutes for $50,000. Some group buys and Kickstarters take a bit longer than that to get that much money, but that's awesome. Recently on Instagram, he actually posted the pictures of the aluminum and the plastic one, the silver plastic one, side by side. Dude, the silver plastic ones look pretty good.
Yeah, it's like a little bit shinier, but like they both look very good in my opinion.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait to check that out. I want to do a review of one. Maybe it might be it might be my new like switch tester board instead of my K-type when it comes out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It does have the hot swap sockets.
Yeah.
So very nice suit, high profile.
Yeah.
Nice suit.
Who else is very nice suit, Brian, who sponsors us?
We have some other very nice people. Of course, we have novelkeys.xyz, where you can get all kinds of switches and goodies. Currently running the GMK Olivia group buy, as well as the Olivia-themed desk pad that we talked about a little bit earlier. Of course, he's got his big switches. He's got Novelkeys shirts in stock. And yeah, lots of good stuff. Of course, promo code Top Clack will get you a 5% off your total order. And I believe that even works for group buy stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool stuff there. And of course, we've got the XDA Scrabble board group buy going on right now too. So you can get the 15 by 15 Scrabble board or Switch tester, you know, whatever you want to use it as. It's massive.
Also, if you're looking just for like some nice, simple colored blank keys, he has those XDA, those blue ones with the white alphas, in stock at his shop as well. If you're looking for some very, very clean, simple blank 2-color set, just throw on a board and type away. Maybe you're gonna eat on it or something. You don't care if it gets dirty because it's blank, or just take it to work and confuse coworkers who need legends to type on. Those are also available. Yeah, check those things out as well when you get a chance. Speaking of things you should check out when you get a chance, Zeal's switches. They're for a lot of people. They're not for everyone, but they're still for most people, I think. They're still very, very popular, as Brian always likes to say, and it's very, very true. They've taken, a very classic formula. They've taken the Ergo Clear, basically, as well as that was the original inspiration for the original Zelios. And they've basically reworked the housing and just focused on making it a smooth experience. And they've done that really well for a tactile switch with that old classic mid bump. Very nice. And then the other Telios as well. Although I am pretty excited to see the next project they have going on when they have the silent Telios in the future, whenever they're going to have it. That's going to be the hype.
I think that's going to be really hyped.
Yeah, that's going to be the hype. Speaking of hype, I know a lot of people like R's, G's, and B's, and the Zeal Revision 3, Zeal 60 Revision 3, is available on Zeal PC, as well as Mass Drop, if you're interested in that. I actually have a Revision 2 that I'll be building with in the very near future that I actually fixed up really gettily with some leads from a diode. But they work. I've tested every switch. It fully works, surprisingly. So I'm going to be using this in a build in the future. Either maybe something with maybe with the Zeal switch, or maybe something with like Gator-on Milky housings to really get the full R's, G's, and B's going on, or maybe a critic plate. You know what I'm saying? Just blinding me when I type. So check out all that stuff when you get a chance. That stuff is pretty cool. Would highly recommend. Things I'd also highly recommend would be the Alpha X3 on Z Frontier. Coming soon. I don't know if I can afford it, but
coming soon. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we don't have an exact date as far as I'm aware for the Alpha X3, but hopefully it'll be very soon. It's a super awesome board. I showed it off a little bit earlier in the stream. I'll probably be building it on stream tomorrow, most likely. We'll see, but that's probably going to happen because I really want to build it up. It's going to be freaking awesome. But, while you're over on Z Frontier, you can check out all the cool things they have there. They have a ridiculous amount of key sets in stock, probably more than anyone else in the community. So if you're ever, in the need for keycap sets, it's probably a good place to check first. Of course, they are also doing the... oh no, the Fox Slab Orange got sold out already?
Yes.
Wow, that was quick.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess you can't pick out one of those, unfortunately. That's really unfortunate because that board's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do they sell out of all the all brass versions too?
Probably.
How does that work?
It was a pretty hype board.
The brass pads are even sold out. What?
Yeah.
Wow, these went so fast. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you can look at pretty pictures of them instead of buying them, unfortunately.
What you can still buy, though, are some awesome key sets, which they have in the JTK and GMK variety, as well as I think they still have SA Corner Creatures, possibly. SA Night King, I believe, is shipping out soon, so extras of those will be also coming out soon as well.
Rumor has it that the JTK Aqua has the fixed legend.
Yeah, rumor has it. We will see. I want to get a set when they release, post group buy. To really, because if they have those legends down, then like,
I see it.
Ooh, man, that's gonna be exciting.
See it.
That's gonna be exciting. So.
Yeah, but pretty awesome stuff nonetheless.
And also awesome is our Top Clack audience, of course. Thank you everyone who has subbed, and everyone who's donated bits, and everyone who is just awesome because you guys are awesome because you guys watch Top Clack. Oh, there's probably more reasons than that you're awesome. That definitely counts for one of them.
Anyone that supports clowns like us it has to be a good person. That's the way I see it. Anyways, we're actually going to move on to a Q&A segment here momentarily.
And discussion points. We have things we want to talk about every now and then, and things we want to hear your opinion about in chats.
Do we have some?
Yeah, I have something right now.
Cool.
JTK. Suppose the legends get fixed, and they keep a consistent range of $80 to $90. do you think they'll start giving GMK a real run for their money?
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's the main problem with JTK right now. I think is just their inconsistency. I would also argue that GMK looks a little bit nicer than JTK. I think the way the legends just look overall, I think GMK is just kind of a nicer, cleaner look. But for sub $100 keycap sets, I think JTK could be a really big deal, especially if they keep around the $70 to $80 price range, like you've been seeing them in the past. Like when Control Alt runs a group buy for JTK, it's like $60.
I mean, it'll only take 3 years to ship, but
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was merely commenting on the price. But, if we can get full compatibility sets at the same price point as Enjoy PBT, then yeah, I think GMK will definitely not be phased out, obviously, but I think you'll see a lot more sets run by JTK than GMK. So, but I mean, that's cool. Obviously, competition is always good for everyone. We all pretty much benefit off that. And it's just a different avenue. So you'll have more choices when you do design a keycap set that you want to run.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. What do you guys think in chat say? I know Donut Cable says JDK's production process is whack, but it looks like some people will definitely say if they fix it, JTK Hana's on their list as well as other sets. I think for a lot of designers, if they fix their legends, that's gonna be for a lot of people really big incentive to consider running their set, producing it with JTK instead of GMK. Also, Sigil 10470. Thank you so much for the bits, by the way.
Awesome. Love them bits.
Yeah. So man, I hope JTK really takes off. We'll see. I know. Well, we've covered it before, but Red Riot all blanks that Pudgy's planning on running. That's gonna be all blanks through JTK because they can't mess that up, right? Yeah, it's $50. If you did all blanks with GMK, I think he said the quote was still at least $90 for all blanks for GMK.
Yeah.
Which at that point, go JTK at that point.
That's a pretty big difference, honestly. That's a $40 difference for they're both ABS, they're both cherry profile, they'd both be blank.
So even though someone did say as a joke in before JTK Necro, actually gives me an idea. Do you think a lot of failed sets in the past may rerun in JTK because of the much lower price point? Lunar Samba, thank you for the 100 bits.
I think it's a little too early, maybe, to
really say
answer that question.
I think if they fix their legends, I think it'd be a really incentivized way where people maybe my set didn't do so good the first time. Maybe for example, I really was bummed. It was a while ago, so, back before GMK was a hype beast. It was GMK Retro was running. That's a brown set I absolutely love. And it could not pass on Mass Drop before Mass Drop was the giant it was now. And it's that was a big bummer. I was in 3 different kits, including 2 different alphas for retro. I really wanted to go through. It did not. But if it was in JTK, maybe if that was a possibility, oof. I mean, I think if it reran in GMK today, it'd probably pass. But back then, if there was a JTK option that had good legends,
yeah,
great.
I think it's such a balancing act, right? Because you have on one hand you have GMK, who is established in our community, been around for years and years, and has done
decades actually.
Well, I mean, in our community, in the enthusiast keyboard community, doing custom key sets for us, it's they've been doing a really great job. They've had a couple minor mistakes here and there, but who doesn't? Their quality tends to be pretty high, and they have a great reputation. They're overall very consistent, but that obviously comes at a price. GMK sets, they're not cheap. Mm-hmm. They're very expensive. Someone in chat earlier just said they can't even afford GMK. So, on this other hand, now we have JTK, who is a much more of an unknown quantity, hasn't been around for very long. has had some consistency issues, but you know, is able to hit a much lower price point than GMK, and people can actually afford JTK sets. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I think we need a little bit more time to really be able to tell, honestly. But I hope people aren't scared away from buying JTK because they're new. So I think if JTK does like some nice sets initially, then we could see a pretty big upswing for them.
Yeah. Excited to see how that goes. I really am. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Ooh.
Could be very good. We'll just say that.
If they fix your legends, I would really love it if they reran white on black.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
for
good.
$65 again or whatever it was. Like, yeah.
I would even go for 80 for a JTK set with fixed legends.
Yeah.
For me,
well,
that
I'm being greedy because I'm used to seeing JTK sets for under $80.
I don't think that's going to be reality anymore. I think like the reality is JTK is just going to have to be that $70 to $90 price point.
Yeah, which is still like fine. But I think once they start cracking that $100 price point, it might not be.
Then you just go. Then you go GMK.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
We'll have to see. Yeah, it's still a very new thing.
See.
Anyways, we've rambled on about this long enough. Q&A time, guys.
Yeah.
If you got questions, we have answers. Make sure you use the @Top Clack tag so we can see them a lot easier with our eyes that are looking at the screen. We can see them easier.
Our eyeballs.
Promise. I know we don't have a guest, so we can't ask the guest any interesting questions, but you know, maybe you have questions for Huey or myself.
Melded asks, with Kale's hot swaps becoming more common in custom keyboards, do you think we'll be losing a part of what makes the hobby what it is? No, I do not think so. What do you think, Brian? Yes or no? To begin with,
I don't think so either. I think that's a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, when you saw, like, especially like your very first or second soldering experience, it's a really personal thing, right? You're like, shit, I actually just built something. Like, I soldered a keyboard. Like, it's a really big deal. It's a really cool thing. But I mean, nowadays, like, I could take it or leave it. Like, I don't care if I have a board that's soldered or hot swap. I just don't. Like, it doesn't, to me, it's not going to affect how much I like a keyboard or not. So, I don't know. I guess it really just depends on who you are. But overall, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no.
At the heart of it, we're still a hobby that specializes in customization, you know, open source, programmability, stuff like that. And, like, that stuff's not really going to die. Like, we're only ever seeing more options, more and more of everything, more switches, more caps, more housings, more materials, etc. It's always going to be there, and we're always going to have just such a wealth of customization.
So speaking of customization, it was actually funny. I'm going to talk about this really briefly on Discord the other day. We were actually joking about about that part. Someone asked something similar, and we were like, no, people are too attached to soldering. When I was talking about like. Just imagine people start getting into artisanal solder. I only solder with reclaimed solder I got from my G80s. I only use those kind of, right.
That's wow.
We're just joking like, yeah, I only use reclaimed solder from Soviet Russia used in the 90s because I appreciate the high lead content.
That's silly, dude. That is silly. Zerpocalypse is saying, I just bought a Hako FR301. Thanks for convincing me to get a desoldering station. How often do you find you use yours? I go through stages. Like
every build stream.
A lot, and sometimes I don't.
So
yeah, I don't always have something to desolder.
So the big difference between Brian and I, where Brian will sometimes still use a solder sucker for a single switch. Brian doesn't keep his soldering station on his desk like I do. Like for Brian, he actually just like get it out from like a closet or somewhere, like plug everything in. Like I just push a button, it's right here. Like
yeah, I'm gonna buy one of the stands. So the Hako FR300, which is what I have. I don't know if the 301 is a different physical design. But for the FR300, there's actually like a little stand, like a sweet metal stand that just goes on your desk and allows you to just put it in there like a holster. I do plan on getting one of those, and when I do, then I'll be able to keep it on my desk. But you know, it's hard to break out for me for like 1 or 2 switches. All right, Once Saved Gaming is asking, is an Ergo Clear still good with a heavier spring, i.e. 67 gram or 78 gram?
In my honest opinion, no. For me, it is not a better switch with a heavier spring like the 67 or 78. At that point, if you're going to use a 67 or 78, use Zeal's 67 or 78 because he's changed the spring to still have that weight but increase the bump. If you're still using a normal kind of spring you'd get from Sprit, mechanicalkeyboards.com, or whoever else in that 67 or 78 gram flavor for a normal Ergo Clear, you will recognize a loss of tactility compared to using a 62. For me, if I'm making Ergo Clears, traditional actual Ergo Clears, I only use 62.
Yeah. So that's obviously the personal answer. The general answer is yes, it'll still be fine because you use whatever weight you're comfortable with. But yes, traditionally the 62 gram spring, like Huey said, is used because it still retains that tactility a little bit nicer. And that's why people do it. But use whatever you want, man. Like, this hobby is all preference. Always is. Overkill is asking, how is the castle stream going? What does it look like? Here's the mailing list link.
It's going pretty well. Let me get a link of what it looks like for y'all. It looks like this thing I am posting in chat right meow. That's how it looks like. If you guys haven't checked out the castle stream, every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific, Overkill and I, also known as Brandon of Input Club, we are working on this board. Last episode, we installed a solenoid. Yeah.
That board is nuts, man.
128 switches. Yeah. So check it out if you haven't had a chance. If you missed out on the VODs, I definitely recommend just watching them at like 2x speed. But it's definitely worth checking.
Slow stream.
Yeah, no, it's very, very meticulous. A lot of good conversations and fun come from that stream, but like it's always like the in the moment thing. It's always great. So if you want to catch it tomorrow, I definitely highly recommend it because we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that solenoid. Right now, it's placed on top with like an acrylic cover or something. We thought that'd look really cool, but from that render, as you can tell, it looks kind of odd out of place. We're thinking maybe like having it face forward and like have like a clamp so it's like a cannon. We'll see. You know, we'll see. Yes, it does say Top Clack sucks on the corner of it. And the other corner it says Input Club sucks.
Which may or may not be on the final product. Proximity is asking a question of you, Huey. Scale of 1 to 10, how hyped are you for the polycarbonate 910 and the sexy PCB, which he linked in an Instagram post?
3 pi.
3 pi. Alright. Lunar Sama, thank you so much for the 400 bits. Helps us out a lot. Really does, too. The Sky's 256K is asking thoughts on Enjoy PBT 9009. So I think we actually covered that topic last week.
Yes.
Overall, pretty good. Yeah.
For me, the big thing is color accuracy. 9009 is very, very specific about the color. I mentioned how it failed on Key Clack on its first attempt at a group buy because the colors were so off.
Have you seen the post that KBD fans put up just the other day comparing?
No.
So they went through and they compared all the colors for GMK 9009 and Enjoy PBT 9009, and they were rather accurate. So if you're good with the colors on the GMK 9009 version, you will probably be okay with the colors on the Enjoy PBT version. So that's pretty cool. IMO. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good, successful set. Obviously, I think the price is maybe a little high. I don't usually like to see Enjoy PBT crack that 100 price point, and it's like 115 or 120 for 9009, which is a GMK set. And one of the things I think Enjoy PBT has always done best is keep that price really low, but still give you really good value.
So speaking of price, that is a KBD fans price. So Coda of our Top Clack Discord, he's actually running a mini group buy. Hush hush. PM him on the Top Clack Discord. He has found it for a much cheaper price on Taobao, and he's gonna be proxying from Taobao. So
interesting. Okay, good to know. Uh, Heffies is asking, what is the difference between Krytox VPF 1514 and Tribosys 3424? I think you might have gotten that number wrong, but I understand what you mean. I have a first-time project with Helios and not sure which lube to select for them, so I think he meant 3204?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think Tribosys 3424 exists, or if it does, I don't know about it. Anyways, presuming that you mean the 3204 Tribosys that is popular in the community right now, that is a grease, and the VPF 1514 is an oil. So viscosity is going to be wildly different. 1514 is a relatively thin oil, and the Tribosys is a thicker grease. So it'll kind of affect how the finished product feels. Thicker lubes tend to give you more of a feeling, like there's actually like a resistance there. I like to call it sluggish, although I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, because it can still feel good. People can still like it. It's a preference. I tend to prefer the oils because I feel like they don't really change how the switch feels. It just makes it smoother if you do it right. So that's just something to take into account. But different people are going to tell you different things. So, take everything with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah.
Texas Breakfast is asking, what do you think is so hard to mimic Topre with MX switches? Why do you think it's so hard to mimic Topre with MX switches?
Physics,
that's a really good question.
How a tactility is achieved in a collapsing dome versus a spring and slider. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get that kind of feeling in a switch that's so much smaller than, a dome plus a spring plus a slider housing. They have more room to work with as well.
Just basic design. I mean, it's just unfortunately just how it's gonna be. Like, yeah. Dude, Koda's already got 6 PMs. Good for you. Good for him. Yeah. I mean, if you're in the U.S., having him prox it for you might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, and Koda's a very nice and reliable person, so no hesitation at all for joining that. Donut Cables is asking thoughts on the Scrabble Pad PCB. Then he links the Reddit posts for the IC. That's pretty insane, but I think it's cool. I think it's cooler than if someone were to hand wire the 15 by 15 grid. I know I would much rather have a PCB because I'm lazy. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. Baby Feet asks, what's the biggest hole in the market? 65% PCB, brass plate, Panda switches. Biggest hole in the market.
A standard for center mounted PCBs, center port mounted PCBs.
Yeah, I think PCBs are a big thing. Not only just ports, but also sizes. Like you mentioned, 65% PCBs. There's not really like a standard on that, like there is for 60%, and you could pretty much say the same thing about 75% PCBs and some TKL PCBs. So I think PCBs are still a little bit harder to work with, but I don't think it's necessarily a problem because usually the things that we see, like if a 75% board comes out, it'll be launched alongside a PCB. So 60% is kind of just different because it's more popular, so it's easier to have more options and standards. Brass plates, I think brass plates are pretty common these days. Panda switches, obviously, yeah, Panda switches and Halo switches are not the easiest thing to find right now. But, what else?
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be fixed. Palizu is asking a question for Huey. Just watched your Nightfox build video and it inspired me to do the same mods on my pre-built White Fox. Since I'm going through the trouble of desoldering switches to lube my stabs, what are your thoughts on desoldering Hako True switches for lubing? Is it worth?
No. If you should only need to desolder your stabs if you're using PCB mount stabs, although I figured you've figured that out if you want to go through this agony of desoldering your switches. But yeah, lubing stabilizer is very, very important. That's kind of why it's kind of nice that Input Club does include the plate mount ones, and the plate works really well with them.
Yeah, so actually, sorry to interject, but
yeah.
on your version, it's cherry plate mount, correct?
Correct.
So previously, the White Fox used Co-Star,
Oh,
which
did it?
yeah. So the round one version of White Fox used Co-Star. So I actually, when I watched that video, I thought that was pretty interesting to actually make that switch over. So originally it had Co-Stars. So if you have a round one that uses Co-Stars, you don't have to desolder any switches. Those go in after all the switches are in. Totally fine. If you are using the newer version, which has the cherry style plate mounted, you only need to desolder the switch that you need for that stabilizer.
Yes.
Because you just desolder that one switch, pull it out, and then you push little tabs on the plate mount, stabs, pull them up, pull them out.
Although it is
pretty darn easy.
Although it is cool for the new Night and White Foxes. The PCB does support PCB mount stabs if you're into that. But they include plate mount stabs anyways. Use those, they're fine. Lube them like I did, clip them like I did, put a sorbethane sheet like I did, and you're Gucci.
Yeah, that sorbethane really does make a pretty big difference in terms of that sound. So also his second question, Hako Trues for lubing, is it worth it?
No.
Generally speaking, lubing box switches is not going to yield that much more of a result. Most Hakos or most box switches in general, that particular design, are relatively smooth, if not pretty darn smooth, and that's just because of the way it's designed. The leg on the slider that provides the tactility and it hits the nub on the housing, there's already lube like all over that. So like lubing that more isn't really going to do anything for you. Like you can lube other parts of the switch and you'll probably get a little bit of a benefit, but I would say overall it probably isn't worth your time. That's just our opinion. Dead Encryption just subbed for the 5th month in a row with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much,
man.
sir. Appreciate that, bro. 5 months, that was fast. Yeah. Time flies, man. Time flies. HuangVu95 is asking, do the different mounting style affect the key feel a lot? Like Clipe build versus TX60 versus E6? Just in term of sound / key feel. So I think he's talking about basically plate mount versus tray mount versus, insert other mounting there. Yes, it does affect both feel and sound.
It's more than just the mount. I mean, the case itself also plays into the feel. So I mean, like, unless you had like 2 fiels, one that was a tray mount and the same fiel that was also magically a top mount, it's like there's a lot of factors that go into that feeling. So I still like to compare it keyboard by keyboard as opposed to mount method versus mount method. And within that keyboard, as you review it or examine it, you can then kind of look at how the mount method affects that feel of the entire board. That's my mentality behind it.
That's true for the most part. I mean, if you take a tray mount board and build it as similarly as you can to a top mount board, and you use them side by side, you will notice differences. Partly because they are different cases, but partly because of the mounting solution. So it really is better to take it on a board by board basis, because like at that point you're comparing stuff like the TX60 to the E6 to the the Fiel or whatever, and like they're all good for different reasons. They're all going to feel different, but that's because they are different, not necessarily only because the mounting solution is different.
Yep.
So man, you just gotta use a board for what it is, like it, love it, but yeah. That's how it goes. Rogue Soldier 77 is asking, have you seen the Raincoat mod? I have not.
I have. Zoology is the original poster, and he's actually very he's pretty active in the Top Clack Discord, and he was talking to us at length about it. I don't think it's something I'd do. I think it's something maybe if I just had a cop board laying around, I'd try out, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try it.
What is the mod?
So you know how the cop boards with the MX blocks, they have that plastic membrane to protect the switches.
Oh,
you take that and you transplant that onto another tactile, and that kind of gives you kind of like a rubber membrane on top of your switch. So it's like a faux Topre, faux BKE in a way.
Interesting. Okay, so does it feel at that point? Does it feel more like a rubber dome, or does it feel more like an MX switch?
I don't know because I don't have a cop board, but You should read through that when you get a chance. It is quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that and read that later. Very interesting.
Oh, I just want to say real quick, Waymo, I will do a Florida meetup if I go to Florida. That's it.
Yeah.
Muffin Smasher, thank you for 3 months in a row subbing with Twitch Prime.
Awesome stuff. All right, Feel Good Music is asking, have you guys been to meetups in other countries? No, I've actually never left the country.
One of these days, I'll smuggle you across a border. I don't know which border, but I'll smuggle you one. Across one.
Cool. Cool.
Sir, do you have anything dangerous to declare as you enter our country? I was going to point to you.
And I'll just be like, I'll wear a Top Clack shirt, obviously. And I'll have like a keyboard in each hand, and I'll just act like I'm feral. It'll be amazing.
He was raised as a child modding keyboards.
Next week on Top Clack News, Brian lost in Mexico. Yeah.
I mean, for 99 cents Coronas, yeah, I can see it.
Oof. Yeah, $1 beers, pretty good. Brian Flat Earther confirmed. Wow, feels bad.
Well, and speaking of traveling, real quick, I've flown with my boards board with brass weight. I always get stopped by the TSA because it goes through the X-ray. They look through the layers of the board, and suddenly there's this giant black slab, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's an American tragedy about to happen?" And I'm like,
"What's funny is
it's a brass weight."
Yeah, I've flown like 3 or 4 times now with several keyboards, and they've never stopped me. Goes through the machine, they're like, okay.
They look at me and it's like,
no issues whatsoever. It's really interesting.
This guy looks pretty suspicious. Why does he only have 2?
Exactly. All right, so we actually fully caught up on questions now. So now's probably a good time to wrap up. Dixie Mac, thank you so much for the sub with Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. And yeah, of course, just like as usual, below the stream you can find links to our Discord channel where we talk a lot. We have a lot of cool people and channels going on over there, as well as our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that for some pretty sweet content. Zoology says, OMG, I'm Top Clack famous now. That's not very famous, don't worry. I'd be happy to send you guys a couple of single domes to try out for yourself. It's budget BKE heavy/extreme rebound when used in conjunction with a red or brown switch. Heard good things about using with GAT clears. Hit me up on Discord and get me a mailing address, okay? So that'd be kind of cool to check out. Yeah, Sweaty Yeti donates 300 bits. Thanks, man. The sweatiest Yeti. I don't know why that username gets me every time. All right, so yes, make sure to tune in tomorrow for the castle build stream that happens at 8 p.m. Pacific time. There's a likelihood that I will be doing a build stream either before or after that.
Maybe you can join us and build while we build. We're virtually building a keyboard, and you could physically be building one. How meta.
I don't want to... Maybe, but I don't want to ruin the integrity of the castle build stream. Because, like, or the design stream. Because to me, a build stream is, like, uber casual.
That's
like,
true.
We're not focused on anything. Like,
we pretty cash. We Taco Bell.
I know. They're a little too conflicting for me.
That's fair.
But, yeah, if you want to see me build up this sweet Alf X3 tomorrow, then make sure you tune in for that. Of course, I'll make a post beforehand, and if you're in the Discord, you'll get even more information from that. So yeah, thank you guys all for checking out this week's episode of Top Clack. Make sure you tune in next week's as well as tomorrow's and all the times. We always doing stuff.
With more great content coming soon. Everyone, have a wonderful evening or morning if you're across the world. Take care.